What is going on, guys and gals? Schematocles here with another DCS World video for you today. We're sitting on the deck of the CVN-74 Stennis in the waters of the Persian Gulf, and we are the flight lead of a two-ship of F-18 Charlie Hornets equipped with a lot of gas and 4 GBU-12 Pave Way 2 laser-guided Mark 82s apiece. So, the general plan then is for us to head up to the vicinity of Bandar Abbas MiG base, which is just about our waypoint 3. And then we'll reach an IP point at waypoint 4 and get in touch with an embedded JTAC and a SEAL squad in the vicinity of the northern portion of the town of Sarkun. And these guys have spotted some Iranian A-18Cs, and they have a laser designator, which they will use to designate targets for our GBU-12s once we've gotten in touch with them. So we'll head up to waypoint 4, communicate with the JTAC, and then drop our GBU-12s and go home and trap. So that's the general plan. Let's go ahead and get started here. So we'll go battery on, and then we'll test the fire circuits.
Fire left. Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Okay, and normally you'd have to wait 10 seconds unless you cycle the battery, and then you can go straight to the second fire circuit with no audio. Okay, I guess we're waiting 10 seconds regardless.
Engine fire left. Engine fire left. Engine right fire. Engine right fire. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Alright, good to go. Go ahead and close the canopy. And then arm the ejection sheet and tighten our straps. And we'll go APU on. Alright, APU is on. Let's go ahead and crank the right engine first. Provides most of the hydraulic power. Alright, and let's do a fuel run on that engine. So this throttle's now forward. While that's setting up, we'll go ahead and get the entire aircraft set up. Alright, hook bypasses to carrier. We can't change that yet anyway. Anti-skid is off, which is what we want. Go left DDI on, move the stick. Radio brightness, HUD brightness, MPCD brightness. Right DDI, uncage the backup. ADI, we will set our rad out. Let's set it to about 100 feet for a carrier launch today. We'll rotate our bleed air. Since we tested the fire circuits, we now have to rotate that or the bleed air will be shut off. Turn up our console lights, warning and caution lights, get the radar into standby mode, and then the INS to CV for alignment, and that just means carrier alignment. And this right now is telling me no waypoints. We'll see if that fixes itself. Sometimes you have to go into the ground alignment mode. Okay, so everything's good to go here to start the left engine. Watching N1. And here we go. Fuel run. Alright. Put up the FCS over here. Can leave it in the bit test page here. Turn on the RWR. Set a bingo. Quantity. Go with about 5,000 pounds of gas today. Okay, and our INS is aligned, so we will switch that sucker into nav mode. So it pulls its INS data directly from the carrier. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now that we're spooled, we'll have the chief of the ground crew remove the wheel chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
Alright, and we verified that those are now off. So the next thing to do would be to actually test the FCS. So to do that, I'm going to extend my wings. And we'll lock those in place. Once they're out. Quick check of everything else here. Low box is on with oxygen flow. Okay, looks like we're set up. Alright, let's go ahead and lock our wings out. And then we'll go ahead and suck up the flaps and get an FCS reset. And those X's that were there are caused by wing droop, supposedly, if the airplane's been sitting for a while. Okay, so now we're going to hold this switch, the built-in test switch for the FCS, on the right side of the cockpit, and then we will press the FCS bit test button. And those flight controls will move, and then we'll get a beep to indicate that the FCS bit has completed. Go ahead and adjust our louvers for air conditioning for comfort. Alright, good to go. So we'll go flaps half, and then takeoff trim, set. And we'll go HUD on the left DDI, and FCS on the right DDI for takeoff. Alright, and that's pretty much everything. We are now set up to taxi to the CAT, so let's go ahead and do so. I'm not going to bother with calling the controller because they tend to freak out. Alright, and we're rolling. We'll go with the left cat today. Not sure what number cat this is, probably 3. Alright, and let's hold short of the cat. And then we'll go ahead and close the radio menu, and we will go external, just to kind of cheat ourselves forward onto the catapult. Alright, let's stop right there. And then we can go ahead and extend our launch bar. And once that thing is extended out, we will press U on the keyboard to actually hook up to the cat. Good to go. And if we were talking to the carrier, we'd get a takeoff permission at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and request it. Request takeoff. Just to get the comm set up properly. Alright, 2973 on the QFE. And then just a few last items here. I want to make sure that the launch bar is now retracted, or we can't actually select afterburners. It's held in place on the cat by a spring system. We want to go into radar altimeter for the takeoff, and that should be just about everything. So let's go ahead and go up to ADN1, see if we get any cautions. Checking temperatures here. Everything looks above board. Let's go full afterburner select, and hands on the towel rack, and here we go. Alright, and there's 8 Alpha, and we're sucking up the gear. I'm coming out of full afterburner immediately, so as to not make my wingman chase me down. I'm going to stay below 500 feet on the altimeter until we are 10 miles from the boat, and we will determine how far we are with the tack in for the Stennis. and we can tell that on the HUD by pressing the TACAN on the MPCD, and we're about 3 miles out. So we'll go until 10 at about 500. Join up.
Flight, join up.
So that gives rejoin permission to the wingman. So I want to go ahead and get my EW page here. We'll set up a rad out hold on the autopilot and go inbound to waypoint 1, which is actually behind us at this point. So we'll go inbound waypoint 2 here. I like to go to the radar, and then we will call radar on.
Radar on. Flight, RTB.
No. Not sure why I did that.
Flight, join up.
Very strange. Radar on must sound a lot like RTB. Okay. So, now I want to go ahead and make sure that my countermeasures dispenser is set up here, and I'm going to actually drop the repeat interval to 5 chaff and 5 flares, just because you tend to run out very quickly if you do not do so. Alright, and this is kind of the configuration that I like to hang out in. And we're 10 miles from the carrier, so we could, in theory, go ahead and start climbing up, but I'm going to wait until my wingman is a bit closer. I can see him just off my 6, and I've got the F-18 radar back there. We're going to hang on for just a moment. Come on, buddy. Close formation.
Flight, close formation.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and fence in, which means that all external lights are going off. And we'll turn on our IR cooling for our sidewinders. And make sure that our countermeasures are on, which they are. He's coming. Way back there. Alright, so it's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and start climbing up. And the reason that you don't climb is so that you don't actually interfere with the overhead pattern for the boat, which we'll talk about a bit more as we come into trap. Throttle up for the climb. And we'll probably drop our bombs from about 25,000 feet. So we got quite a bit of climbing ahead of us here, but we have plenty of gas, so no problem. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in an attitude hold as we climb. And then we just pass through 3,000 feet, so we'll switch over to the barometric altimeter. And I'll set on the engine anti-ice since we're going to go pretty high today. And at this point we can go ahead and turn off the carrier TACAN. And we won't take a look at that again until we're done with the mission here. So let's go ahead and get it in the heading select mode. turn on the auto throttle here. Should maintain 350 knots. Which is a good climb speed. Okay, no real radar contacts, but we are set to a 1 bar. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out. And now we can see from 37,000 feet down. Those numbers will change as we climb. So we'll keep an eye out for SAM sites, or for SAM signals. Generally, we're not expecting any long-range SAMs, so mostly things of the SA-19 class. So we'll stay high, and that should keep us out of range for the most part. SA-19s have about a 5-mile range, so for 25,000 feet, that's high enough, most likely, as long as we don't fly directly over the top of them. So we'll keep an eye on that RWR. Also keep an eye on that fuel display on the IFE. And we'll probably drop our tanks just to get a little bit less draggy as we drain them. Guess we can go music on here. No reason not to. Looks like our auto throttle is no longer maintaining our selected velocity. Interesting. I wonder if that's because it would have to go into burner to do so. Would appear to be the case. Alright, let's go ahead and nose down. I guess we can go standard altimeter here. Since we're up so high. So I was kind of inspired to fly this mission today by the release of the new Top Gun trailer. And if you're not excited about that, I don't know why you're watching a Hornet video. Obviously, the F-14 would probably be a bit more appropriate, but maybe not, given that he's flying the Super Hornet. Pretty interesting trailer to dissect. Saw Tom Cruise, Maverick, wearing a spacesuit at one point, which kind of makes you wonder if he's going to be flying some crazy hypersonic aircraft, like the SR-72 concept or something like that. Also wondering if it's maybe going to be some retrofitted Tomcat for some crazy high altitude operations. Just from like the last 2 seconds of the trailer, it looks like that may be the case. We'll see. Very excited about that regardless. There's our paveways. Some AIM-120 Charlies and our 3 fuel tanks. Very good. So I have been making a concerted effort to get more familiar with the more advanced weapon systems on the Hornet. So the guided stuff, like the JDAMs and the laser guided bombs. And so far, what I'm kind of finding is that they require a bit more setup, a little bit more tedious to get ready to launch. But once you launch them, the payoff in terms of accuracy and not having to go close to the target is pretty worth it. Pretty remarkable. The one issue with these laser-guided bombs, and also with the JDAMs presently, is that you either have to convert MGRS coordinates into more precise coordinates to drop the INS, or you have to use a JTAC or an A-10 with a laser, because we have no self-laze capability currently from the Hornet, but that should all be addressed relatively soon, hopefully. Alright, in about 600 pounds of gas, we're going to drop those tanks. go to a 4-bar. Don't really need to look all the way up to 60,000 feet. Not anticipating any A-12 interceptions here. Or Foxbats. So there's Kasab off the left side. And let's check how far out we are from our IP point. About 6 minutes. So I'll actually go ahead and time accelerate here, just because, you know, it's kind of boring. Don't really need to sit here for the entire time. Watch our Hornet wiggle around. She's a beaut. Alright, and time to drop off those tanks. So let's verify the stations that we actually have these on. So the center and then the left inboard and right inboard pylons. And we'll go stores, master arm on, jettison. And those tanks should have just fallen off. Let's verify. We would normally do that with our wingman. So you can't actually see those via F6 anymore, which is kind of interesting. Alright, so we are quickly approaching waypoint 4 here. I'm actually going to come a bit left. And let's go ahead and see if we can't get in touch with the JTAC Axeman 11 on 133 meg.
Axeman 1-1. This is infield 1-1 to A-18. Delta, Quebec 4177, 26,000. Armed with GBU-12, 1,150 cannon. Time on station is 0 plus 30. Available for tasking. What do you have for us? Infield 1-1. This is Axeman 1-1. Type point intersect. Advise and ready for 9-line.
Alright, and we'll call ready for 9-line.
Ready to copy. Line is as follows. 1, 2, 3, NA, 500 feet, MSL, APC, Delta, Romeo, 3, 6, 4, 3, 3, 2. Marked by Willie Pete and Laser. 1, 6, 8, 8. Northeast, 4,500 meters. Troops in contact. Egress, south.
Roger.
Advise when ready for remarks and further talk on. Ready to copy remarks. Use guns. Attack heading 50,070. Wind 160 at 7 meters per second.
Okay, so we'll read back now.
500. Delta, Romeo 364332. Final attack heading 050070. Read back correct. Report IP inbound.
Okay, and we're not quite to the initial point yet, but we will go ahead and set up our laser codes on our GBU-12s. So they actually requested gun, but they're not going to get gun. They're going to get GBU-12. I don't know why they'd laze otherwise. So we'll set up our fuse for instantaneous. And then we'll set up the laser codes for the NATO standard 1688. And step to right rack, and again. Okay, so these are now effectively set up, and once we get to the IP point, we will call Axeman and let him know, and we'll put the wingman in a hold while we go and engage. the APCs, and I'm probably not going to have him drop his ordnance today, just because since they're requesting gun, he's probably going to go guns, and I don't want him to have to go down there if he doesn't need to. So that's a bit of weirdness in the mission editor. Let me know in the comments if you actually know how to fix that and have the JTAC request GBU-12s. So egressing south and final attack heading of 050 to 070, I believe. Which if we come in from the IP point, looks like it's gonna be correct. So we'll just regroup at the IP for every drop, and I've only got 4 here. So probably a total of 4 drops. We'll have 5,000 pounds of gas to get home. We don't need to go super fast, but probably faster than 250 knots. Alright, so target waypoint here is waypoint 6. Actually, maybe waypoint 5. I think it's waypoint 5, fairly certain. And we can verify that with the Billy Pete. Anchor here.
Flight. Anchor here.
Alright, so let's go into just an altitude hold, and we'll go into a left-hand orbit. And I'm going to go ahead and call the JTAC.
Infield 1-1. IP inbound. Infield 1-1. Continue.
And I'll set up waypoint 5 as our target. And we're in auto release mode now, so we're about 15 miles out from target point. Push that throttle up a bit. So all that's really left to do now is just overfly and egress south. A bit more coordination required with the JTAC, but that's pretty much it. So I haven't actually seen any SAM signals. Would be anticipating S6, but none so far. Let's go ahead and get around in this turn here. Interested to see what this final heading is going to come out from the IP point. Hopefully between 050 and 070. Okay, 08. So we're actually going to head south a bit. Wait for smoke. Okay, let's F10 map and see what is going on here. Doesn't look like our SEAL buddies are moving toward the target, but we're supposedly waiting for smoke. I don't know that we're gonna get it.
Mark is on the deck.
Okay. Now I can't actually see the mark.
Contact the mark. From the mark, west 120 meters.
But we're going to go ahead and call laser on.
Laser on. Blazing. Infield 1-1. Spot.
And now we're going to call in. should get a clearance to drop. Cleared hot, infield 1-1. Took him a while to get the WP down. Alright, holding the pickle button, and one away. And we are coming off south. 29 seconds to impact. So need to keep an eye out for SAM signals. But now that we're at 180 approximately, go ahead and put it in a barometric altitude hold. Oh, didn't work. Let's go ahead and F6 that GBU. Oh, looks like it's gonna hit.
Shift.
Kaboom.
Infield 1-1-1. Unit destroyed. Re-attack is authorized.
Roger that. So we got one of the APCs on the first go round. So now I'll kind of go back to the IP point. We will continue to re-attack in that manner until we are out of GBU-12s. A bit of right trim. So they actually have to get in close to deploy the LEP. Doesn't look like it. Maybe they used a mortar. I'll just stay out of the autopilot for a while. Okay, and I'm going to turn inside the IP point just so that we come out on the correct attack heading here.
Infield 1-1. Continue.
Okay, and we're waiting for smoke, so I'm going to pull that back. Now, the smoke is there already. Contact it. So we'll see what they decide to do here. Hopefully they laze faster than they did last time, because I have a feeling I'm going to be in a bit more rapidly. I think you can just request laser, not necessarily Willie Pete, because I think that that takes a bit longer than I'd like it to. But at this point, we'll go ahead and weapon designate waypoint 5 again.
Mark is on a deck.
Alright, we already had the mark.
Contact the mark.
38
From the mark,
seconds.
south 200 meters.
Roger. Let's ask him to
Infield
laze.
1-1. Laser on. Laser on.
Spot
Infield
laser.
1-1. Spot.
And we're in
Infield
from
1-1. In from the southwest.
the southwest.
Infield 1-1. Cleared hot.
Cleared hot. 10 seconds to the release queue. Holding down the pickle button and one away. Alright, 35 seconds to impact. Now one thing I have noticed is that with the JDAMs and the GBU-12s, multi-target attacks are a bit more difficult because here they're only using one laser code. So if they had multiple laser designators, I could set up multiple bombs for a single drop on different codes. But here I have to wait for a shift call. I'm going to extend to the south here. We'll go altitude hold and take a look at that GBU. It's tracking. Come on.
Shift.
Awesome.
Infield 1-1-1. Unit destroyed. Re-attack is authorized.
Roger that. So I need to climb. So we have gotten below our drop altitude. But with the JDAMs, the other issue that you have, even if you have multiple target coordinates assigned to each bomb, meaning you have 4 JDAMs and you have 4 separate target coordinates assigned for the drop, if you don't get them synchronized perfectly and those units are within, okay, I've got a S6 signal out there. I need to turn away from that sucker. That's kind of what I was alluding to. Alright, it's gone. So we need to be careful not to extend out too much to the south. I suspect those are Advent or a boss. Okay, we got two more. We'll just stay high and stay away from those suckers, and we should be fine. But anyways, the JDAMs. So if you hit a target within like kind of visual distance of another target before the second JDAM comes down on that target, it will move, which, you know, is probably correct tactics given that you're using an INS guided weapon. But you have to figure out how to synchronize those drops such that they all got there at the exact same moment, or you'd have to use a targeting pod to go in and change the coordinates multiple times after every strike, because they will move enough that your pre-planned coordinates are no longer accurate.
Infield 1-1. IP inbound. Infield 1-1. Continue.
Alright, and we have to wait for the smoke, but I've already got it. Kind of weird that they require you to wait on every drop. But this is basically kind of the air-to-ground equivalent of a chainsaw almost, and I guess you could keep multiple aircraft in trail and just have them keep dropping over and over again on that 1688 code until all those APCs were taken out. But I'm only going to drop my GBUs and then we'll go trap. How are we doing on gas? Got enough. Since we're so high, we're not burning too much fuel.
Mark is on a deck.
Alright, we are contact on the mark.
Contact the mark.
36
From the
seconds.
mark, south 600 meters.
Go ahead and laze.
Field 1-1. Laser on. Laser on.
Spot.
Field 1-1. Spot.
And we are in.
Infield 1-1. In from the west. Infield 1-1. Cleared on.
Let's get back over to the release queue. And I want to wait. Coming off south. And we'll come off kind of more to the southwest to stay out of that SAM sites range. We're getting less draggy on each pass. "19 seconds to impact." So I wish you could actually call that to the JTAC. I think that is kind of standard operating procedure. Nope.
Infield
Whoa!
1-1. We
No,
have
no.
the vol and are checking out.
I was just trying to F6 the weapon delivery. There we go. And let's not do that.
Infield 1-1. You may depart. X-Men 1-1. This is Infield 1-1 to A-18. Delta Romeo 2 E-25. 26,000. Armed with GBU-12. 1,150 gun. Playtime is 0 plus 30. Available for tasking. What do you have for us?
It's one of the issues with the F6 menu, or the, excuse me, the radio comms / menu.
Infield 1-1. This is
And we got to go back through the 9-line process here because I checked out.
advise and ready for 9-line.
Ready to copy.
Ready to copy. Line is as follows.
We'll extend out here and then turn back around.
NA 508 MSL APC Delta Romeo 36533 marked by Willie Peak Laser 1688 northeast 4,000 meters. Troops in contact. Egress south.
So nothing's changed about the 9-line, so we'll go ahead and call IP inbound here.
1-1. IP inbound.
We were supposed to copy their remarks. Let's see if we can still do that.
Ready to copy remarks. Request guns.
Yeah.
Make your attack heading 5070. Wind 160 at 7 meters per second.
You're getting GBU-12 for the umpteenth time. Let's read that back to him.
500 Delta Romeo 365 Tack heading 050070. Revac correct.
Awesome.
Report IP inbound.
Weird that it gave me the option to report IP inbound before the readback.
Infield 1-1. IP inbound.
Okay.
Infield 1-1. Continue.
And we're waiting for smoke, and it's already there. So as we come off here, we'll return to the waypoint line south, just so that we don't get too close into those SA-19s down there, and then maybe in a future mission we will take those out with some MAVs or some JDAMs or something. Okay, now we have an auto release at 99 seconds. I guess it just means it's greater than 100 seconds to the target. We're waiting to contact smoke here. I'm gonna slow it down. One GBU-12 remaining. Alright, hurry up with the smoke. Got 96 seconds. Oh, and now my trim's gonna act up. Wonderful. Wonder how far you can get off the auto delivery line, because these are guided, right? Okay, SEAL team, today please.
Mark is on the deck.
Alright, I can't actually see it, but
Contact the mark.
pretty sure.
Mark west 230 meters.
And please laze for me
Field 1-1. Laser on.
in spot.
Laser on. Infield 1-1. Spot.
And we're in from
Infield
the
1-1.
south
In from the
west. West.
Infield 1-1. Cleared hot.
8 seconds to drop. Coming off south. And we'll rejoin and then we'll go trap. And want to wait. Okay, let's get turned fast here, combat turn, so that we can actually see the GBU impact. I'm going to turn back almost all the way to the reciprocal, come out on this heading. And 22 seconds. Let's put it in altitude hold. Alright, and then we will check out that GBU. Certainly appears to be tracking. Yep. Interesting how they all kind of turn in at the last moment.
Infield 1-1-1. Unit destroyed. Reattack is authorized.
Okay, so at this point, we want to check out.
Infield 1-1. We are at the end of vol and are checking out. Stay safe down there.
Join up.
Infield flight. Join up.
Okay, so fairly successful GBU drops there. I think we stayed on the correct attack heading and everything. Only real hiccup was with trying to F6 the GBU and accidentally checking out of the JTAC, but that's fine. I'll have to figure out how to do those JTAC commands in voice attack so that it's not quite so tedious with going to hit the backslash every time I want to do something. Now, where is my F-18 buddy? Okay. Alright, so going to go ahead and go to a heading select of like 155, whatever that is. And turn bound toward the Sinus. We're a lot cleaner now, so a lot less draggy. Alright, and let's go ahead and pull up the Stennis on the TACAN again. Alright, 103 miles out at 7,800 pounds of gas. Plenty of time. And I'll hook up the ILS as well. Or the ICLS, which we don't need because it's visual conditions, but I think I set it up. Okay, and we'll go ahead and cheat with the F10 map and see what the ship's heading is going to be. 340. So we'll set up our course to 340, and that will let us know kind of what our approach course and our reciprocal will be for the case 1 pattern. Alright, let's get some external shots here. I'll actually see infield 1-2 around. That's it, right? Oh, there he is, way back there. Just a speck on the horizon. And he hasn't called bingo or anything yet. Wingmen tend to be pretty awful with their fuel management, in my experience. I wish there was a way to actually check their fuel state. There may be a way to do that via the data link or something. Yeah, not sure. I guess if this were real life, you'd just ask for the fuel state. That's okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and fence out here, since we're back in international waters. There's also no fence out command as far as I'm aware. Fence in or fence out. Alright, 82 miles. Stay set up for airborne contacts, but we're not expecting any. Maybe get some Iranian F-14s up here. That'd be pretty interesting. You know. Alright. Still negative visual on 2, but he's back there for 6. Okay, gonna go ahead and time accelerate till we get to about 20 miles out from the tanker or so. We'll go ahead and get everything set up to trap. And hopefully we'll be able to trap on the first go around. We'll see. Oftentimes it takes me 2 or 3. I'm not very good at landing on the boat, unfortunately. Wonder why that's TKR. Isn't it normally CVN? I guess it's whatever I set it up to. Alright. Let's go ahead and call inbound to the Stennis.
Marshall 10, marking mops 335, all 21, Angels 25.5, holding hands with 11, low state 4.1.
4.1. We're still going to land first. Should be enough gas. Alright. Hook bypass is in carrier, anti-skid is off, which is what we want. Everything else appears to be good to go. Radar altimeter is set right now. We're in barometric, but that'll change. Oh, there you are. Where you been all my life? Alright. Can we figure out our current weight? That is not the correct page. I know you can figure out your weight from the support page. Placeholder. I don't know, but we're pretty light, so assuming we'll be light enough for land for sure. Okay, and I guess we'll keep you tucked in till we land. We'll just have him kiss off and go down. Let's circle back around and land. Okay, let's go ahead and descend. Alright, boat's off the nose and 7 miles, so pretty much directly beneath us. There it is. Right there. So we'll do one kind of overhead pattern at 2,000 feet coming back over top of the carrier.
Tower 10. Overhead Angels 19.2. Holding hands at 11. Low state 3.9.
I think this is all technically supposed to be zip loop, but from this point.
10. Tower, Roger. BRC 339er. St. Louis, Charlie.
Right. So 160 is our
10.
reciprocal heading. And we'll continue to get down into the weeds here, and then we'll flip around and go overhead the carrier at 2,000 feet. Make sure everything's set up, and then we'll break the deck and head into trap. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll trap. Alright. Engine anti-ice coming off. Don't really see why we'd need that on a day like today anyway, but you always get the warning for whatever reason. So the ICLS is actually up. Alright, we're about 7 miles out here, so I'm going to cheat my nose right, and then we'll kind of break into a left-hand pattern as we continue to descend. Down to 2,000. We want to maintain a fairly high speed here because our actual pattern speed is going to be about 350 knots.
Altitude.
10 miles out.
Altitude.
I think that's the boat off the nose there, so we'll go ahead and drop down to pattern altitude. You should have plenty of gas, hopefully. I know he said he was low state 3.9. I don't know how he actually wasted more gas than I did in a, endurance orbit, but apparently he did. Okay. So we'll hang out right here in a rat out hold. switch the auto throttle. Okay, and all I need now is just to put my hook down, I believe. Everything else should be good to go. Stay firm. So I've had some trouble actually getting the LSO to talk to me properly, and I'm not sure if that's because I'm out of position when I come into land or what the deal is, but hopefully we'll get it this time where we can actually call ball and have the remainder of the flight kiss off. But that does require a lot of kind of backslash manipulation on my part when I'm trying to land, which is a bit unfortunate. Okay, let's go ahead and flip on around here onto a kind of lazy pattern, go reciprocal. And he's actually got his hook out as well back there, so hopefully he'll come in to land at the same time that I do. That appears to be clear. So we're still going to do one more racetrack after we break the deck here. Going to expedite this turn. The Radel's still holding, but it's letting us drop quite a bit. So, gotta get this down, and then I gotta get the air-to-air refueling down. Those two things, and you're pretty much gonna be able to do most of what you need to do in any mission. Looking for 160. Go ahead and chop the throttle just because we're about to break the deck. And here we go, going down. Alright, we'll try and maintain about 800 on the radar. About 350 knots. We're sinking. Alright, let's turn in, and then we'll get our one last racetrack. The HUD repeater here is definitely helpful. As you can see, the MPCD and the left EDI at the same time. You don't really need to look out at the HUD. Bit fast, bit low. Expediter turn in here. So we don't get too far out of position. Just out of my curiosity, I'm going to keep this arrival heading up on the radio. Got a bit high there. A lot of stuff to keep straight as you do this. Alright, time for our last little racetrack here, and then we'll put her down. Hopefully. FCS wiggling all over the place on me for some reason. Alright, we're lined up to the right. This is where we'll do our last kind of deck clearing. Confirm the ball is on. I can't really read it. Bit tough. Alrighty. And we'll give it 1 or 2 seconds here, and then we'll turn. And I'm just going to load up about 2.3 G or so through the entire turn. Looking for 160. 250 knots. Don't want to get too low here. Slide right a little bit. Now let's get our landing lights on. I don't think technically you would do that during combat ops, but it is what it is here. We're going to need quite a bit of nose up trim, I can feel. Drop down a bit. Okay. We're just about ready to turn in. Let's do it. Better to stay high than to be low, so come around with that in mind. Gauge our velocity vector there. How we're doing on position. You're not technically supposed to cheat like that, but well. Okay, and I'm actually going to stop a bit short because it looks like I'm going to line up left here. So I'll roll back in, a bit left and a bit below. It's probably a little bit aggressive on the roll. Alright, he's back there, gear out. This is obviously a wider carrier pattern than you are supposed to have. But I suck, so that's why. Alright, we're definitely low, so we'll put that velocity vector right on the horizon and just kind of wait for a moment. So we're on speed AOA, but we're low, as indicated by the ICLS, and I don't actually have a ball option. We're supposed to call it 0.7. Have the flight kiss off. I think he's going to do that regardless. Let's not get screwed up here. We are right or left. Shoot back the other way. Put that velocity vector right on the crotch of the boat. We're definitely out of a line to the left, but oh well. Alright, trap. That was definitely short. 100%. Oh, and there goes two. He just bolted right through our airplane, so should have given him the kiss off option, but I never actually got it, and I think that was because I was out of position. But oh well, not bad. Didn't see what grade the LSO gave me, but I trapped, and the airplane's not broken, so it's pretty good for me. Alright, we'll go ahead and taxi back to the fantail here, and we'll watch two come in. And get this radio out of the picture. Let's see if we can get him to RTB via voice attack. Flight RTB.
Flight RTB.
Oh yeah.
Roger.
And he's already in the pattern, so it shouldn't take him too long, I wouldn't think. Alright, let's go ahead and get the parking brake set, and we'll shut down some of the non-vital equipment while we let the engines idle. Get everything Set. Position lights off. Turn off the O-bogs. I guess we're going to leave the oxygen flow on. No reason not to. And now we're just going to wait. Let the engines chill. But overall, not a bad mission. Fairly successful, with the exception of kind of a messy interaction with the JTAC and a kind of, I guess I would say, lousy trap on my part. It was definitely out of line to the left. Didn't get the option to call the ball or have the flight kiss off, and we'll work on it. It's just a training mission, so no big deal at all. So let's go ahead and shut down number 2, or number 1, I believe. It's left-hand engine number 1 or number 2. I don't know. You always turn on the right-hand engine first, so I would call that 1, but I think it's the other way around. Let's open up the canopy here. Listen to those 404s. Or one of them. And shut down the right-hand engine. And now we wait. Where's 2 at? There's a Oliver Hazard Perry way over there. Oh, there he is. Alright, and we'll shut down the bat. Have the ground crew replace the wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And watch our wingman come in. Hopefully he doesn't run out of gas. Where you at, bud? Alright. Time acceleration time. Whoa, look at him. He's like Mach 5 in the pattern. So advised. Now, do we want to watch him from the airplane or from the LSO screen? I guess probably the airplane's a little bit cooler. So we'll just do that. Those unused GBUs, never dropped his tanks or anything. Maybe that's how he has less gas than I do. Does it say his fuel state here? It does not. He's rolling in on a pretty similar pattern to what I did. Kind of leveling off, and then he's almost yawing his way back in. Just a little bit of bank. Yeah, see, he's still way out of line. I guess that's correct procedure, but I had to be out of position somehow. I have to watch some more tutorials. Coming in. Looking good. Oh, short, very short. Well, any landing you can walk away from. Alright, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed my return to YouTube via this, you know, Top Gun inspired Hornet mission in DCS world. And leave a like on the video. I appreciate the support from each and every one of you. And get subscribed if you're excited for more DCS World content just like this video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.